All right, here we go. Elimination games the rest of the way with 6 teams still standing. There's a sinker at 92 to start. So a lot of ground balls, a lot of sinkers. Mark Kingston has said it is incredible sink for Dylan Eskew. Waldschmidt serves this one foul, and it's a ball and a strike. Well, how about the day yesterday for Ryan Waldschmidt? Second team All-SEC with that OPS climbing toward 1,200. How about home runs at 420 feet and 421?
Yeah, he didn't get cheated yesterday. It was one was a heater, one was a breaking ball. Always good to have a day like that here in Hoover because there's a lot of eyeballs in professional baseball. And Ryan Waldschmidt has made a name for himself this year. Last year just 4 home runs, and this year made some adjustments, bigger, stronger, faster, and he is getting his swing off at a very high level. And the offensive numbers certainly display that, especially in league play where he has saved his best.
There you go. We got a Guardians, a Phillies logo back behind home plate here at the Hoover Met. 2-2 from Eskew. And this is pulled on a line to left, and that hooks foul for Waldschmidt. Yeah, you know it's a big home run. We're on the first one. Crushed to left for Ryan Waldschmidt. Off the bat, it got an uh-oh from you.
Well, there was a few no-doubters yesterday, but both of his, I mean, they were, as soon as they left the bat, especially the way the ball has been traveling here. We got a little different wind today, Mike. Not nearly as gusty out towards the big part of the park as we've seen here all week.
6th pitch to start from Eskew, and it's rolled to second at Parker Nolan, who retires Waldschmidt, and a ground ball on cue induced by Eskew. Now, what's that tell you, wind-wise, how it has played this week compared to what you're seeing today?
Well, I think it tells you that some of the balls that we've seen, especially at the higher trajectories, have a chance to stay in the park today. There's just not a lot of help. That doesn't mean it's impossible to get one out here. I just think especially in the middle part of the park, we might see some balls stay in that have been traveling out here lately.
Brings up the second baseman, the junior from Quebec, Emilien Petrie. SEC all-defensive team in back-to-back years, and last year all-SEC second-team choice. A couple of hits yesterday against Arkansas, plus a walk. It's outside 2-0 from Eskew.
Hey, Mark, no feel on the board. It's not working. Is the feel on the board working?
2-0. And that is south of the knees with a sinker at 93.
It'll be interesting today. You got Dylan Eskew, who absolutely dealt when they faced Kentucky a few weeks ago, 6 1/3 scoreless. You got Mason Moore, who got roughed up when he faced South Carolina. So you got, opposite results for these two pitchers when they faced these teams the last time they squared off. It'll be interesting to see if they carry that momentum, if they can flip the script.
That's outside, and a 1-out walk induced by Petrie. What a job Nick Mingione has done. Feedback is the recipe for breakfast today for this Kentucky team with 40 wins, a super last year, currently ranked 2nd in the country, as we said, and of course shared the SEC regular season title.
Yeah, they have really turned the corner as a program. Last year it started, hosted a regional, won that regional, which is a huge step as a program. It was a long way back to the top from 2017, his first year on campus, but boy, have they built it up.
Before last year, it missed 4 straight NCAA tournaments, but well positioned this year. Well, this is the team leader who's always in the center of it all, the catcher Devin Burks.
Hit and run coming right here.
With Petrie at first. Does not go, and it's on the ground to short, and will tip it. The turn from Nolan. Should have listened to Chris Burr, senior from Bradenton, Florida. Much like Nolan McCarthy, Brinling with a great catch yesterday in the 9th inning on Tommy White.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell if that was actually getting out of the yard or not. If it wasn't, it was going to hit the top of the fence.
Well, 2 pitches in, we're getting a visit from Devin Burks. Gives us a chance to show you the verbal.
The wind's been blowing out, so the center fielders are playing deep. Tommy Tanks has been on an incredible run, so no shocker that he drove one out to the center field wall and tip of the cap. Tommy handled that a lot better than I would have. I mean,
you would have been shoveling a little bit more extra gum into your mouth at that point.
He was very gracious about a home run and certainly extra bases. I still think Nolan McCarthy had him, though.
Yeah.
Nolan's was a little higher degree of difficulty.
After the visit, there's a strike poured in by Mason Moore at 95. What a catch it was from Nolan McCarthy. And then Brenling trying to match. That's dropped in for a strike. 2-2 from Mason Moore, and you'll see a lot of that changeup as well. We showed you his second most used pitch. His primary secondary is that change. 2-2 fouled away by Brenling.
Yeah, I mean, it's average fastball about 92 miles an hour. Loves the changeup. You'll see that about 26% of the time. Slider mostly just for strikes. Likes to go to that changeup. Looks a lot like the sinker coming out of his hand.
2-2. Outside, full count.
Fastball's dialed up today. 95 miles an hour for a guy that on the season's just averaged a click below 92.
A pitch he gets a ton of chase on. Outside ball 4. And Austin Brenling coaxes a leadoff walk for the Gamecocks to start out against Moore.
First baseman number 20, Ethan Petrie.
So brings up Ethan Petrie, second on the team in OPS behind Cole Messina. But the team leader with 21 home runs for the preseason first team All-American. They work him in, and it's ball 1 to start. Petrie 5 for 13 here in Hoover. Had a 3-hit game with a home run in the opener, a win against Alabama for South Carolina. Yesterday, a double and a couple of walks for Petrie. Moore's 1-0. This is skied to shallow right. And James McCoy drifts in for the first out. Well, you know the story by now for Mark Kingston and South Carolina. Came here on a 6-game losing streak. Those sweeps at the hands of Georgia and Tennessee. Some resume uncertainty, but they are now comfortably in the field, if they weren't to begin with, with what they've done.
Yeah, I agree with that. The RPI on paper was good enough. You just worried about the way they were trending down the stretch, but they certainly have put those questions to bed.
Here's Blake Jackson with 1 out and 1 on.
Talked to Mark Kingston before the game about what was the difference of those 6 losses and resetting before he came to Hoover, and he said, honestly, nothing, because there was a lot more made of it. We just played 2 really good teams in Tennessee and Georgia. Sometimes that's just how the schedule shakes out. It had nothing to do with how we were playing at the time.
That's life in the SEC, right? I mean, you're going up against a couple of teams who are probably going to be top 8 national seeds.
Yeah, I would argue maybe that's a little oversimplifying things. I mean, I think SC would expect to win a game or 2 down the stretch. The fact they didn't win any certainly speaks to the talent they were up against, but also, you know, their inability to figure out a winning formula down the stretch. It just was concerning, but he is right. If you lose 6 in March, it just doesn't sting as bad as in May.
2-1 is outside to Blake Jackson. We'll get another mound visit here. Devin Burks joined by Dan Roselle. Well, we mentioned it with Mason Moore when he faced South Carolina in the regular season. 4 2/3, 10 hits, 9 runs, all earned in what was his worst start of the season. And now getting another chance against South Carolina.
Well, and sometimes the team has your number, but we talked about this all week too. Big stage, a lot of eyeballs, a lot of radar guns. You get a guy in his draft year in Mason Moore. We've seen the velocity is up. And they're probably looking at that same thing. Maybe this dude's out there overthrowing, and we need to calm him down. Again, this is a ground ball pitcher. He's not really built on blowing dudes away with his heater. It's more on the movement of the pitch.
Another check on Brenling. Yeah, he's been dialed up, like you said. He's sat 91, 92 with that fastball all season. 3-1 to Jackson. And that's a strike at 93.
There you go.
The count's full.
But I tell you, the sinker that he has now in a full count and a swing count, just one good two-seamer away from trotting off this field.
Long hold and the payoff. Swing and a miss, and the throw down from Burks on the money. That works too.
Torn UCL that kept him out again for another year. He ends up going and playing for South Carolina and has still an up and down season. And then this year against Kentucky, pitches 6 1/3 innings and a shutout. When he walked back to the dugout, a standing ovation. A nice moment for a roller coaster career.
How great is that? For everything you go through late in the season against one of the top teams in the country, you go a career-long 6 1/3 and get a standing O.
Yeah, I'd say that made it all worthwhile. Yeah, it's a long journey. And for a guy that, you know, didn't get it handed to him right away, he's had to earn it. He's had to do some soul searching. It's something I'm sure he'll remember forever.
Dylan's father told Gamecock Scoop that outing for them as a family felt like validation. He's behind 3-1 against Nick Lopez. We'll call it 3-2 on Lopez. What a season he has had in the heart of the lineup for Kentucky. First team all SEC with those numbers. Slices this one in the air and foul.
It's kind of interesting, isn't it? About, I mean, 372, 6 and 49 into, like, that's a fantastic year, and they are tickled the production they've gotten out of the transfer. But in a year where the ball's flying out of the ballpark, it's interesting the league didn't have a DH with a 20-homer season as many guys that have.
On the ground, right side, and foul at Petrie.
I heard Jim Schlossnagle's comments about the home runs in this league, and you know, the Big 12's home run leader still doesn't have 20 yet. There's 10 players in the SEC with 20 or more. And sometimes we, especially here when you're in Hoover, you can get very SEC bubble-ish and think everybody in the country is hitting 1 million home runs. There certainly is a lot of homers, but
on the ground sharply to second, and Nolan with a bobble that has Lopez reach. It's an error on Parker Nolan for a South Carolina team that had 4 errors last night against LSU.
That ball's hit hard. And we talk about 2 ground ball pitchers. Some of those ground balls are going to be smoked. And for whatever reason, Nolan didn't realize that ball was right in front of him. Ball's hit 107 miles an hour. Sometimes at second base, you just got to almost be a catcher, block it up and then play the bounce, but he kind of lost track of where the ball ricocheted to, and Lopez hustling all the way beats it out.
So man aboard for Mitchell Daly, who bunts it back in front of home plate, and Reeves couldn't handle the spin, and Kentucky's got 2 aboard.
That's exactly what it was, Mike. A little sand wedge piece out in front of home plate. It hits the grass out there and acts like a Scotty Scheffler wedge hitting the green at Valhalla right here. Watch this ball. It hits and backs up on Dalton Reeves. Reeves just making his 10th start of the year at catcher. Normally Cole Messina would be behind the plate. That ball just spins. He kicks it. But again, you make the catcher get out from behind the plate and have to field his position.
So 2 on, nobody out for Ryan Nicholson, and he will square. Push one toward third. Barehand Eskew for the out. And now 2 in scoring position for Kentucky in the second.
So Ryan Nicholson leads this team in homers by a wide margin. One of the top 5 homers in the home run hitters in the SEC in league play. And with first and second, nobody out, he goes up there on the first pitch and puts down a perfect sac bunt up the third baseline. Like, you literally would teach that bunting technique and execution at a clinic, at a baseball clinic, and they get it out of the guy in their lineup that has the most home runs.
And now up to the likes of Nolan McCarthy to pay it off. And he goes first pitch swinging over the head of Petrie and into right field. Lopez and Daly score. Throw to second does not get McCarthy, and Kentucky strikes first here at Hoover.
So this ball is chopped, and I think Petrie was so ready to make the play at the plate, he didn't read the hop. Watch him, he charges it, Mike. He goes forward, and then the ball bounces over his head. And that's a ball I think he catches if he just stays back. Instead, he charges it. Then he misplays the hop as far as misreading how high the ball was. Kentucky E4, sack bunt they don't make a play on. Sack bunt, chopper over the first baseman's head. It's a two-spot for the Wildcats.
That is how they roll. Got a really good look at it as well from Mindfly's chest cam over.
That day one of this tournament, it's certainly coming out here these last couple days. As you said, 4 errors last night. Right now the scoreboard says 1 error, but there's been 3 misplays in this inning.
Mark Kingston said after the game last night that the errors were clearly, he thought, the difference in the game. James McCoy squares and pulls back, and it's 1-1 with McCarthy at second and 1 out. McCoy, the redshirt sophomore from Port St. Joe, Florida, trying to break up an 0 for 19. Just off the edge with a changeup.
It's a nice take right there. That's the thing you got to do against right-handed sinker ball or changeup guys. You have to get the ball on the wide of the plate because it's going to run away from you if you're a left-hander.
What's that mean in practice with your eyes? You have to get it on the wide part of the plate?
On the white of the plate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, like, so if the ball starts on the edge, it's going to miss. And so you got to get the ball really, I would be looking almost inner third, certainly middle, because if it starts on the outer third as a lefty, it's going to miss away.
Told you it's a very good pitch for Eskew. His 2-1. That moves outside. A sinker to make it 3-1.
That's a great take. Again, a fastball that starts on the outer third of the plate, but finishes about 3-4 inches outside. Just a ton of horizontal movement to that two-seamer.
(3-1), and McCoy works a walk. Second one worked by Kentucky's hitters the first time through, and they've got 2 on again here in the second. Tyler Dean is up for the Gamecocks, 29 pitches in.
Yeah, South Carolina already having played 3 games. They're pretty thin down there. So Eskew's going to get a little more leash than he certainly than he would have on Tuesday.
Seen a lot of Chris Veach. Here's Grant Smith squaring and taking strike 1. Fifth-year senior shortstop who's been great with the glove again. Second in the SEC among shortstops in defensive runs saved, according to our friends at 643 Charts.
Hit and run. Oh,
this comes up and in on Smith.
Boy, hit the knob.
Now that's the signal from Eddie Newsom, and that is loud.
Kentucky send the runners in motion. Yeah. You can hear it.
Yeah.
Hit right on. And you can always look at the hitter. Like the hitter will tell you. And there's no grabbing of the hand or the forearm. You know, those are things that you're not going to premeditate. I mean, yeah.
It's a great verb for it.
Thank you. Almost said premedicate, but anyway.
That's what I have to do before working with you.
Okay, I feel you. Anyway, you're not going to plan to do that.
Right. And you can't fake that.
You're not going to fake it.
It's going to kill.
Right. So when a hitter kind of holds his ground like that, and you heard it, but it's pretty obvious the ball hit the knob of the bat.
So a ball and 2 strikes, and Eskew deals in the air center field. Brenling goes back, long run, and he makes the catch on the move for out number 2. McCarthy moves up 90 with McCoy back to first, and a nice running catch in center from Austin Brenling.
Well, to me, that's a great sign of what we were talking about earlier, Mike. Like, that's a ball that I feel like yesterday gets out of this ballpark, and there's just a gentle breeze, but not the gusty wind. See, just kind of a light freeze. Old Glory's hanging straight down the left field line, and when Grant Smith, I think he hit every ounce of that baseball, but Brenling just too fast. Now Waldschmidt gets a chance with 2 outs.
And with runners at the corners, he rolled out the second his first time against SQ to start this ball game. Again, coming off the 2-home run day yesterday for the Cats. Slider to start him out.
That's not really SQ's pitch. He doesn't lean into that slider very often, other than just try to steal a strike. Big miss right there.
And a guy who has crushed breaking balls. That's a strike with a sinker at the top of the zone.
Likes breaking balls, likes heaters down in the zone. Pretty good matchup here for Waldschmidt with the way his barrel moves through the batting zone.
2 runs in, and the 1-1 grabs the edge. How does his bat path, swing path, work against a sinker ball?
So it's a low to high move. Like the barrel just kind of has a naturally uphill path. The angle of attack tends to work uphill.
Runner takes off from first, and McCoy moves up into scoring position.
Kentucky loves the first and third offense. Trying to get a balk. If he doesn't balk, you just take the base. If he throws it, the runner from third's going to try to score. SQ doesn't balk, but just allows a free 90.
1-2. Got him. A breaking ball. And the record is 6. And Cole Messina has only played those 3 games, and he has launched 4, as you heard Tom Hart say, and an SEC tournament record with those 14 driven in. Against Mason Moore here in the second, and he's down 0-2.
Mason Moore going right at him. One of the more unique moves. You see a lot of players do this in today's game. Not quite as pronounced. Look how high he starts with the knob and the arms, and then he gets loaded up.
Ooh. Good breaking ball there from Moore to put away Cole Messina.
It's a sinker changeup mix, but the slider tends to be the key. If he's got that going, he's got the ability to get through a lineup, and that is a left turn as it gets to home plate. Cole Messina goes fishing, comes up empty. Some real horizontal break right there to the slider by Mason Moore.
So Parker Nolan. Boy, you like facing Messina leading off an inning, and then you like dispatching him that quickly.
And 3 pitches.
Yeah. That's what Mason Moore did after a 14-pitch first. It's Nolan here, the second baseman, who, of course, transferred in after 4 years at Vanderbilt. 3 for 12 here in Hoover. 4 driven in, including 3 yesterday. 2-1. Heartbreaking loss for the Gamecocks last night. We mentioned the game against LSU, 11-10. Tigers got 2 in the top of the 9th. And it was Carolina's first loss this season when leading after 8 innings.
That was one heck of a game.
Sure was.
Just throwing punch after punch back and forth at each other.
Outside, ball 4, and the second walk issued by Mason Moore grants a 1-out base runner for the Gamecocks. Yeah, Mark Kingston said afterward, when he found out in the morning that it was Skip Bertman's birthday, he knew it was going to be a tough day for South Carolina. As Ben McDonald would have you know on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
If you follow along. Here's Kennedy Jones, junior out of Norfolk, Virginia. Takes the breaking ball to start.
Ben is always quick to love on his old skipper. There's no doubt about that.
He's got a great impression of Coach as well. 2-0. on Jones to start out. That's always great Omaha fodder in the production meetings.
I mean, he's told me all the stories, I think, but it doesn't matter if I've heard him for the first time or 100 times. I giggle every time.
2-1. Jones, the UNCG transfer, UNC Greensboro, where he spent a couple of seasons. 2-hit day yesterday against LSU. Chopper foul.
Moore just bearing it down on the handle of Kennedy Jones with that two-seamer. We talked about how the two-seamer will run away from a left-hander. As a right-hander, you're looking for the opposite, to get the ball out over the plate. You want the ball to start away from you because you know it's coming back towards you.
2-2. On the ground left side and past the dive of Mitchell Daly. And in the left, Kennedy Jones has started to heat up the last couple of days. And Carolina's got 2 aboard.
Yeah, now 4 hits here in Hoover for the South Carolina left fielder.
So puts runners at first and second for the catcher today in the 7th spot. 5th-year senior Dalton Reeves. 23-year-old at his 3rd school. Fouls one off and look out. Reeves on Tuesday against Alabama hit a grand slam. Said he had just missed a slider in the previous at bat, so thought they were going to attack him with fastballs. But sure enough, he got a curveball. Still homer. Rolls this one up the middle at short. Smith, a little bobble, so Petrie hangs onto it. They get the force on Jones for out number 2.
Don't think they would have turned 2 there, but I know Grant Smith's kicking himself that he wasn't able to field that one cleanly.
Able to just get the 1. So 2 outs here, and it brings up Gavin Casas. Moore's first is down and away to start. Gavin Casas would certainly love a little bit of redemption here today for South Carolina. He's in the thick of things late in that game. He's had a very nice season again with the bat. Last year had the 19 home runs. Good take, 2-0.
Yeah, not quite as productive as he was last year, but man, you talk about a polished hitter sitting down at the bottom of the lineup that makes the opposing dugout nervous every time he comes up to the plate. That's this man right here. A lot of thunder in that barrel.
With Noland and Reeves aboard. 2-0 to Casas, and he launches right field to the corner and gone. Sweet redemption indeed for Gavin Casas, and Carolina leads. .429 feet for number 10 on the season for Casas. On strap in. Let's go. Here's Will Tippett, sophomore shortstop, getting another start. Longest home run of the tournament.
That's saying something. Many homers as we've seen hit this week. 429 feet. 32. It almost felt a little higher than that, but just a classic bomb into the trees in right field.
1-1 on Tippett, and home run number 36 of this tournament, which ties the tournament record when it's been here in Hoover.
A lot of baseball left to be played.
On the ground right side at Emilian Petrie. Inning is over, but South Carolina's got the lead.
Was able to hit that 3-run homer after the tough night last night. Very happy for him to bounce back like that.
For Cole Messina to have the historic couple days that he's had here, how would you describe how he's playing right now?
Well, historic, right? I think he's broken at least one record already. He's our heart and soul. He's a guy we love having in our program. He's everything this program is about. And I'm just so glad that the whole world is now seeing that.
I appreciate the time. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Whole world has indeed seen it, from Cole Messina and then Casas to the pine trees here at the Hoover Met. So he has given a lead to the Gamecocks with 6 teams left here in Hoover. And this is a matchup to see who advances to the first semifinal tomorrow against Red Hot LSU. And Tyler Dean takes over for South Carolina, the Virginia Tech transfer for the Gamecocks. Gets 2, 3, and 4 for Kentucky, starting with Emilian Petrie, who walked his first time.
So right on schedule for South Carolina here, with SQ getting them through 2 innings. It wasn't 2 clean innings, but nevertheless leaves the game with the lead.
For a guy who, you said earlier, had already started here Tuesday against Alabama. An inning and a third for SQ. And then a couple of innings in this elimination game against Kentucky. Big fastball, and Tyler Dean uses it a lot. Two and one.
Average fastball velo 93.5 miles an hour. He's definitely got a big arm. When you look at the usage, it's 70% fastball. So Kentucky will be geared up for number 1, curveball and slider to boot, making his 13th appearance on the year.
Pitching coming into the year was a question mark for South Carolina after losing the top 3 guys in terms of innings pitched last season. On a line toward left center, and Kennedy Jones makes the run.
Opportunity's going to be right in front of you. You got to have a very short memory to play this game.
Strike 1 to Devin Burks. Casas over at third today. Everyone knows by now big brother Tristan, first baseman for the Red Sox. And I might add, one of the great personalities in all of baseball.
Called a few of his homers.
Yeah. And a lot of other things that Tristan will do.
Yeah.
He'll be suntanning on the field. He calls it grounding.
Okay.
He has told me it's to get natural energy.
Interesting.
Not a caffeine guy.
Okay.
Paints the fingernails. He's got a lot going on.
Okay.
Fouled away by Burks, 1-2.
Is he also a left-handed pitcher?
No, but it would fit, right?
But like, he had to have been at some point. I
Yes.
just feel like he's.
Have you ever painted your
Personality.
fingernails?
No, I eat my fingernails, but
Still
I
do.
don't paint them. Unfortunately, yeah, it's a really bad habit. But
Where were we at with the gum, by the way, today?
still on the first piece.
I didn't know they made 5
5 packs. Well, you're not old enough for that.
Dean's 1-2. Fouled back again on 96.
You know, Chris's question to King, though, is he's saying, people keep asking me. The reality is, how do you bounce back? If you play this game, if you get to this level, how do you bounce back? Like, you have no choice. You either learn how to bounce back, or you can't play this game at any kind of high level, because the game just forces you to bounce back.
Good breaking ball from Dean to put away Devin Burks for out number 2. And Mark Kingston has said it this week. He said, I think sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking, as you see the strikeout on a good breaking ball from Dean, fall into the trap of thinking if a team is losing, they're not fighting, and if they're winning, that they are. And he says that it's not the case. And I know you made the point against Georgia, Tennessee. Yeah, you'd like to have a win in there, but he has maintained, he's been insistent that this group has been resilient throughout.
Well, you don't have any other choice. The games are on the schedule. You got to go play them.
Bouncing ball right side off the bat of Nick Lopez, and Parker Nolan handles that for a 1. There's been the pink hat for Mason Moore. He's just got his normal cap on here today in this elimination game at the SEC tournament in Hoover. Second time through for Moore. This is the leadoff man, Austin Brindling. And it's a ball and a strike after he ran it full and walked his first time back in the first inning. been quite the rise this year for Brindling, who entered the Arkansas series in mid-April with just 1 at bat, but has become a regular since. 1-2.
Yeah, there's been quite a few changes down the stretch of this South Carolina batting order and their position player mix. Tippett got hurt. They decided to move Lee Croy over to short. Casas went to third. Petrie came into first.
This is just poked into left field by a slipping Brindling for a leadoff single to begin the bottom of the third.
So a 2-out breaking ball gets launched to right field, and Dan Roselle talking to Mason Moore about the pitch selection. And something tells me they are not on the same page about the way that went down. Long conversation about. Something tells me that was his third pitch, right? That's his third pitch, especially to left-handers. It's sinker changeup primarily, right? And I don't know if there was a shake to get to that pitch. I don't know exactly the process. And who knows? They could have been talking about something else. I'm speculating on that. But definitely an animated conversation around the execution that did not take place at the end of that inning.
This is poked the other way by Ethan Petrie into right field. And it's a couple of singles to start off of Moore this inning for the Gamecocks.
Well, it's swings like that make you dream on Ethan Petrie. You know about the power, 20-plus home runs in his first 2 years on campus, but it's moves like this that make you think he's got a chance to hit in the middle of the lineup in the big leagues. You talk about keeping your nose and chest down. Watch this. Boom, stay down, stay through it. Mark Kingston likes to comp him to Pat Burrell, and that is a Pat Burrell move right there.
So after Brindling just reached out and was slipping to start, Petrie follows. There's 2 aboard with nobody out for Blake Jackson, who back in the regular season against the Wildcats in Columbia in the opener of that 3-game series. Jackson hit a 2-run walk-off home run in the 10th inning, part of a 2-home-run game for him.
See Kentucky expecting a bunt here. Look at them in their shifted bunt defense here.
They saw the square initially from Jackson on the first.
Yeah.
2 aboard, nobody out, 3rd inning. And he drops it down up the line. Daly on the move, got it over there in time to Nicholson. And the sacrifice successful, and it's 2nd and 3rd. So 1 away, and you've got 2nd and 3rd for Cole Messina. Only saw those 3 pitches his first time against Mason Moore and punched out on a very good slider. And they're just going to put him aboard.
Yeah, we're not messing with this dude. That's, you know, you wonder about the bunt in and of itself. Now you're going, okay, we're going to bunt. You're going to walk Messina. We get the bases loaded. We'll take that, right? So it's, you say, wow, why do you bunt there? You know, but you stay out of the double play, and okay, they're going to walk Messina. We get the middle of the order up with the bases loaded. Definitely some tactical decisions going on there with both clubs.
And the veteran second baseman Parker Nolan steps in. Big ball 1 just off the edge with 93 from Moore. We've had plenty of grand slams this week in Hoover. A record setting with those 4. 2-0 on Nolan. It's been a 3-for-12 tournament for Parker Nolan, with the walk and the run scored his first time today. That is down, and it's 3-0 with nowhere to put Parker Nolan.
Let him swing.
Why not, the way this week has gone?
I mean, Mason Moore is a strike thrower. I don't.
That dots the bottom of the zone.
You don't want that one. Since this is a veteran hitter in Parker Nolan, like, you should be able to trust him to discern what's a great pitch to hit in a 3-0 count. I don't know that you have to go straight take there.
3-1. On the crowd right side at Petrie, the flip, Smith the turn, and it's 2. Mason Moore dodges in this win or go home game. Mitchell Daly leads off and pulls back after he had a bunt single his first time. Tyler Dean's second inning of work and a very good curveball makes it 0-2.
Dean's got that bender going today, doesn't he? That's a couple pretty uncomfortable swings we've seen against that breaking ball so far.
Daly stays back on this one and floats it into right field for a leadoff single to begin the fourth. All right, so you check out the season snapshot for Kentucky with 40 wins, shared the SEC regular season title. You look at that bottom drop line there. Lost to LSU in the Supers. Got me thinking, with the non-traditional way this Kentucky team is, losing to an eventual national champion, having a great season, hoping to get to Omaha. Does it remind you at all of Notre Dame? A couple of years ago, you lose to a national champion in Mississippi State, then you come back the year after and have the season doing it very differently than all the teams are doing it in a power conference. No, I'm not just asking you that because it's my alma mater. Do you agree? Do you not?
Well, let me get past the Notre Dame reference. Kentucky to Notre Dame. I gotta get my brain there. I'm sure that had nothing to do with where you spend your undergrad days. The only thing I would say, veteran team, yeah, coming back off a heartbreak where they maybe got to a place that preseason they weren't expecting to be. I see the similarities. I think the biggest difference is this team, Notre Dame was the 9 against Mississippi State, and then they were not even a regional host. They weren't even a regional host the next year.
Ryan Nicholson to second, the flip from Nolan, and the turn not in time from Will Tippett as Nicholson stays out of 2.
So, that would be the biggest difference, that if, Notre Dame kind of went through the back door, shocking the #1 national seed in their own building, which really makes me think that's probably why you brought this up, just to go back there.
Yeah, of course.
Kentucky challenging the ruling on the field. The runner was out second base.
Oh, interesting.
They want to challenge.
Interesting. So they think that Daly might have a claim to being safe at second on what otherwise was a force.
There was definitely a confusion here. It looked like Tippett was off the base. I'm not sure why. I mean, that ball was right to Nolan. Did he ever step on it? No, he didn't.
No.
He did not step on the base. What a challenge. I cannot figure out, why is Will Tippett not on the base? That ball was almost right. I mean, it was easily to Nolan. I don't see the foot hit the bag, either foot. I guess, did Nick Mingione see?
The call that the runner was out at second base is overturned. The runner is safe. Kentucky retains both of their challenges.
So 2 for 2 as you thought.
Yeah, I mean, let's hear what Paul Gillier has to say about it, because there was a lot going on there. Paul?
Hey, Sparky, how you doing?
Good to hear from you, brother.
All right. So what we had, obviously, was a ruling on the field that the fielder did touch second base, which Kentucky challenged. There was no challenge at first base. And then South Carolina had, so we had the dual challenge. That does not happen often in our game. And so the first look is obviously for forced play slide rule, because it would make the point mute.
Yes.
If forced play slide rule was enforced, he would have been out, so the fielder would not have been required to touch the bag. So now we come back, we look at that, and then we turn to whether or not the fielder touched second base. Replay officials confirmed that he did not, and therefore that safe was overturned to an out.
Paul, if I could ask one
That out
follow-up.
was overturned to a safe.
Yep. One follow-up. You said it's rare. How often do you recall opposite teams challenging on the same play?
It is less than 5% of the time, because the only time that typically happens is on a situation like this, where there could be a possible runner violation and a fielder possibly missing a base.
Paul, thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
So there you have it. And it ended up with 2 aboard for Kentucky. So Nolan McCarthy with the sack bunt. And now second and third, 1 out here for the Cats down a run in the top of the 4th. Things you don't see very often. There's James McCoy. He squares, pops it up toward third, and a diving catch from Casas. 2 down.
Wow, the Cats just leaning into the small game here with back-to-back bunts, and Casas anticipating it, and then put your body on the line, young man. What a play right there with some big-time range. Look how far he runs to get to this baseball, and it looked like maybe him and Reeves were going to run into each other. Casas did not care, putting his body on the line for his teammates right there, and a huge second out as South Carolina tries to work around the defensive miscue early in the inning.
How about it from Gavin Casas? And now Grant Smith watches that one have an excellent stop from Dalton Reeves.
That's a big-time block right there. That ball was way outside. 6'5" catcher getting out of his crouch and keeping that one in front saves a run.
Grant Smith flew out to right field his first time. In right center, run down by Brenling. Down, and Reeves smothers another. Tyler Dean, 20 pitches deep after he came on for Dylan Eskew to begin the 3rd. In this elimination game here at the SEC tournament, Kentucky's got 2 in scoring position. The 2-0 is high, and it's 3-0 with Ryan Waldschmidt on deck for the Wildcats. Dean's 3-0. Ball 4, and they're loaded up for Ryan Waldschmidt. Oh, the second team all SEC stud for Kentucky looms. We told you a 2-home run game yesterday, and he told you guys after the game that he has gotten a whole lot more aggressive this year. Felt like he was too patient on things in the strike zone last season, let too many good pitches go by. But he has changed that tune here in his junior season, and the numbers back that up. So look at these 3. Your swing percentage, how often you're swinging, how often you're swinging on pitches in the zone. That has climbed considerably, and pertinent here on the next one from Dean, his first pitch swing percentage.
Yeah, and I would say that, not to number dump you, but he's also doing way more damage on breaking balls. So he's improved his pitch recognition and his ability to be on time for all speed pitches, in addition to just getting his swing off more.
How aggressive will he be against Dean after the walk? First pitch swinging and off the glove of Casas, and it caroms away, and this game is tied. Daly scores from 3rd on an error for South Carolina here in the 4th.
Well, Casas had just made a top shelf play. This is a tough chance. This ball's hit hard to his forehand and just unable to get that glove down in time on a ball where I don't know that he's turning 2 against Waldschmidt after he has to get up to make that throw, but another opportunity for South Carolina's defense to make a play that they're just unable to finish off.
So 3-3, and now Emilian Petrie spits on the breaking ball. Tough play, but a lot of extra outs granted from South Carolina to Kentucky. Petrie has walked and lined out to left field. That was his last time when he saw Dean, who had just come on in the 3rd. 2-0. Dalton Reeves has been busy back there these last couple of batters.
Putting on a clinic. Cole Messina's going, I'm kind of glad I'm DHing today.
So Reeves behind the dish after a late night for the Gamecocks here in Hoover. inside 3-0 with nowhere to put Emilian Petrie. Parker Marlott up for the Gamecocks. There's a strike at 95 from Dean.
This doesn't get much better than this as a hitter. 3-1 count. Pitcher struggling to find the strike zone with anything else other than his fastball. Petrie ready to get his A+ swing off right here.
Up high, and it's ball 4, and Kentucky leads here in the 4th. Kentucky's only got 3 hits in this game, but through a combo of errors and bunts and walks from South Carolina pitching, Cats have the lead 4-3 here in the 4th.
That's all.
First pitch to Devin Burks is in for strike 1 to start as he bats with the bases loaded for a Kentucky team now leading. Fouled away, 0-2 quickly.
Boy, back-to-back fastballs for a guy that throws almost 60% breaking balls. You can tell Burks a little bit tardy on there. I'm sure they have the same report we do. Maybe caught a veteran catcher up there looking breaking ball.
0-2. There's the breaking ball, and a good one. Another short start from a starter for South Carolina today, leaning heavily on the bullpen again. Sprayed foul. Bullpen for the Gamecocks here in Hoover has given up 11 earned in 22 innings. 10 walks. Seen a lot of changeups from one of the guys you just saw, Chris Veach. 1-2. Burke strikes out. There's the breaking ball. Then what's going on down there?
Nothing much. Just a bunch of guys having fun, watching some ball.
What are the vibes like here on day 4 in Hoover?
Yeah, you know, the longer you can stay in Hoover, the better. It's such a cool environment, and it's kind of just a melting pot of all the teams. And, you know, we're trying to stay here as long as possible, so vibes are good.
So yesterday we had a long conversation about who actually leads, coordinates, sets up the dugout cheers. We were told maybe that's you.
Yeah.
You're the guy.
Yeah. So last year at thanks guys. Last year at Southern Illinois, Coach Mingione decided we needed a dugout captain, somebody to hold everybody accountable and make sure we're all having fun. And Devin Burks recommended me, and since that day I've kind of taken that role and enjoyed it.
Ryan, Coach said he went up to you and said, listen, you have full authority to send someone to the showers, to the buses. You obviously do a lot of fun stuff as well, but what was your reaction when your teammates voted you captain of the dugout?
You know, it meant a lot because, thank you. It meant a lot just being able to, you know, be that guy that the teammates can look to when, you know, we need to loosen up and have some fun. And at the end of the day, we're pretty lucky. A bunch of college kids getting to play a sport in front of all these people, so it's not as serious as everybody makes it. And you know, I sent Drew Lafferty, the kid who went viral a few months ago for staring into the camera. I sent him out of the dugout at Southern Illinois, and sometimes it just fires everybody up.
So where does he go when you send him out of the dugout?
At Southern Illinois, he sat behind home plate and just joined the fans. And
for the whole game, or is it a timeout period?
Yeah, no, it was the whole game. It was the whole game. We got him out. It was time for him to go.
Have you been close to ejecting anyone else?
A couple times. Like you said, the timeout period has been almost every game.
Okay.
We'll send somebody out of the dugout. Whether it's to fire guys up or to actually tell them that they're, you know, not doing enough in here.
So you don't like their energy. So it's like, hey, man, you need to bring more to the table.
Yeah,
because
Coach Minch says we're responsible for how we play and how we help the team outside of how or when we're playing. So even if you're in the dugout, you can be helping the team at all times. And if you're not, you get kicked out.
Dude, can we talk about the catering that you guys have? So I've seen Uncrustables.
Yeah.
Like some gourmet-looking sandwiches.
The ham sandwiches looked amazing.
Yeah, we're spoiled down here.
Smoothies, are those smoothies right there?
Yeah, they're smoothies. got Rice Krispie treat in my hand, some gum. No, I'm good on that.
Rice Krispies in the dugout. You don't see that often.
I know. We're spoiled. This is our Spider-Man. They want me to hang out with this. But.
Yeah. Can we cover a few more origin stories here real quick with 2 outs?
Absolutely.
All right. So Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We'll take that. We'll take the pit crew on Devin Burks and Mason Moore's pink hat.
Okay. All right. So the Spider-Man Sully was my roommate, Nolan McCarthy, in center field. He's kind of a spaz, and he likes to just come up with new ideas, have fun with it. He's big on playing loose, so he came up with Spider-Man. That's where that's from. Mason's Moore pink hat. It's actually Ben Cleaver's hat. He had it in the locker room and asked if anybody wanted to wear it, and of course Mason took it. Mason's a weirdo, but he loves it, and it's kind of taken over our stands. You see pink hats everywhere. And then the pit crew, that started just with Jackson Novy helping out Devin Burks, because he was looking for a way to help out in here when he wasn't pitching, and we kind of turned it into everybody getting involved with it, and Devin just sits there and catches his breath, getting his gear on. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Does it ever get personal? Like when you tell somebody to take a hike, do they? I mean, is there like a no offended policy? I mean, how do we bounce back from that when you get tossed?
Yeah, we don't want anybody being soft, but most of the time it's in a friendly manner and funny, and all the guys get fired up when someone gets kicked out, so they can't really get mad at it.
This is lifted in the air by Gavin Casas to left, and Ryan Waldschmidt ends the inning.
Boy, Mace.
Ryan, thank you so much, man. That was fun.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Spread them on this Friday of Memorial Day weekend. Chris Burke, Mike Monaco, Chris Budden with you. This game produced by Bill Palladino and directed by Jeff Evers. 4, 5, and 6 for Kentucky, up a run. Starting with Nick Lopez, who reached on an error in the second and grounded out to second in the third. South Carolina's got 3 errors today and 9 in the tournament. That matches the most errors they've ever had in a single SEC tournament. That pitch just missed. 1 and 2 on Lopez. Parker Marlott came on to get a strikeout to end the threat in the fourth, and he gets Lopez to bounce one foul.
The big time breaking ball. You could see where this would be a problem first time through the order for teams. The just traditional old school 12-6 downer. Got Devin Burks with it. Finish off last inning, and Lopez just barely able to get a piece.
Fastball climbs high. It is such an aesthetically pleasing pitch to watch. Good true curveball. 2-2. Bends in for strike 3 called. Case in point for the first out.
What's funny about some of these 12-6 curveballs, every once in a while you'll get them, they almost fade back to the arm side. That breaking ball right there, as it got to its apex, it almost drifted away from Nick Lopez. Watch where this starts and where it finishes. It almost runs to the outside corner, and Lopez puts on the brakes, but Eddie Newsom agreed. Strike 3 on the corner.
So 1 away for Mitch Daly in the 5 spot, the third baseman for Kentucky. Texas transfers, been to Omaha a couple of times, takes high. Been a career best season with the bat for Daly. He's from Madison, Alabama, outside of Huntsville. 2-1. Wide awake. Daly skies this one into right center. And Bringling's got it for out number 2.
Playing big today, Mike. This is a big yard. We saw that ball hit earlier in the game by Grant Smith. That would have been a homer earlier in the week. I think that ball Casas just hit to finish last half inning is a home run yesterday as well. I don't think there would be any cheap ones here today.
No. You spotted it really from the second we got in this booth. 2 outs for Ryan Nicholson. Went to St. Xavier High School in Louisville. It has produced luminaries such as Paul Byrd, Scott Padgett, Desmond Ritter,
There you go.
Justin Thomas, Tom Cruise, and that's the full entire exhaustive list.
That's it.
Everyone.
And you forgot Paul Burke.
Oh, yeah.
Heck of a catcher back in the day.
Yep.
Yep.
And then just looking around. Nope, that's it.
That's it. That's the list. Pretty good list, though.
Really good list. Tom Cruise, huh?
Yeah, you know him?
I do. Not personally.
Didn't, I believe this is right, didn't graduate from St. X, but spent a couple years there. Ended up moving up north after that. But yeah,
Really?
he walked the halls of St. Xavier High School.
I thought you were going to say move to L.A.
No, I think he moved up east, New Jersey, maybe.
Gotcha. And Justin Thomas.
Don't forget Matt Anderson, former #1 pick of the Major League Baseball draft,
Yeah.
out of Rice. Justin Thomas, obviously, probably the biggest. Desmond Ritter, just first-round pick.
Real good.
You like that sort of thing?
We do.
Yeah. A lot of dudes. Bunch of dudes.
And Ryan Nicholson slices this one foul. Now, maybe not a high school quarterback yourself like Desmond Ritter, but a really good 8th grade quarterback.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, I'll put my 8th grade toy ball up against whatever film he's got to offer.
Nicholson's had a great season here with the Cats. Best of his 5-year career. But he strikes out on another good curve from Parker Marlowe.
I'm like, why am I doing this? So he basically he didn't want to get mad anymore. He's like, I'm going to let someone else get mad at him, and then I have the easy job and let someone else. We'll name them dugout captain. He's the one that gets to get mad from now on.
Chris, we should give you all the power, Chris Button, that is,
Oh.
to eject people from our crew.
Oh, I like
Wait,
that.
she
I'll
just
take that.
shows up and she gets to start throwing people out? Wait a
The
second.
problem is I can't see what happens in the truck, so I would need a camera, I need eyes, I need intel.
But if you were to throw somebody out, KB, like just give us a name.
Have to name somebody.
It's someone that's not going to close my mic for the rest of the game, so I guess no one in the truck. We'll say Mikey because he's got to get over to a couple other 18,000 events he's got to get to.
Okay.
Yeah, take a hike, bro.
See ya. See ya, Monaco.
I got it from here.
3-0 to Will Tippett is a strike while I have a headset. Life's good if you're Ryan Hagenau with all that power.
I'm just so glad KB showed up because yesterday we're just sitting here, I wonder who's the dude down there. Now we got the whole story.
Yeah.
She's throwing people out. I mean, we've accomplished a lot in a day.
We're doing team interviews with
That's right.
3 people. It's like
right.
it's like a podcast. Look at this. I mean, you got 3 water bottles just in case.
I think you need to go to the UK side.
How about I have an umbrella also on both sides for when the sun comes out. They treat me well down here.
Tippett launches this to left field. Waldschmidt's back. That ball's gone. We're tied. Will Tippett launches. 410 feet away. Steps into the starting lineup and leaves the ballpark.
How about it, Willie T? Not known for the offense, but boy, was that a big swing of the bat. Right on time. The Gamecock shortstop evens this one up.
The 37th home run we've had hit, which is a Hoover SEC tournament record. We still got a long way to go. How cool is that for Will Tippett? He's battled concussion protocol, a minor knee injury this year. Was just coming off the bench here. Gotten at bat in each game, the first 3 games here for Carolina. And earlier this season, Mark Kingston had said, the offense is not what he or I want at this point. But man, they felt like something was going to happen. Austin Brenling grounds back to Mason Moore, and this was crushed.
And just a sinker that sits right down Broadway. Will Tippett. The wind's not blowing out, but you don't need any help with that kind of bomb. A no-doubter into the parking lot, to the big part of the park, over the second wall to the big part of the park. Known for his glove, but that was one loud swing of the bat.
Now Ethan Petrie on a pitch he thought was away. Mark Kingston said they felt like Will Tippett had worked too hard to not start swinging it better at some point this year. This is vaulted to a sunny right field, and James McCoy locates it for out number 2.
Yeah, it looks like the kind of rain that was in the area just moved right past us. Now the sun's coming out, going to get a little steamy. Been a beautiful week here in Hoover.
Knock on wood, no super late nights, like has sometimes been the case here at the SEC tournament. Here's Blake Jackson with 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the 5th in this elimination game. Winner of this plays in tomorrow's first semifinal against LSU at noon Central, right here on SEC Network.
Tigers going to Fleming's tonight? Is that what Jay Johnson said?
Sounds pretty good.
Win the day and go to Fleming's? Enjoy your off day.
Yeah. You got a dozen holes in yesterday.
14.
14, like
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah. Ish.
Give or take.
It's a fruitful day at the golf course.
Pitch 76 from Mason Moore is a strike. Game 3 here this week for Kentucky, and Moore issues a 2-out walk to Blake Jackson, which means he's got to face Cole Messina with a man aboard. Messina's been held in check so far in this game. Struck out in the 2nd and then got intentionally walked. Kentucky wanted no part of him in the 3rd. Elected to load the bases. And now Devin Burks will visit Mason Moore.
It's like Cameron O'Brien down there getting loose for Kentucky.
Ben Kleber starting to stretch and get loose as well. How would you attack Cole Messina?
Out of the strike zone. I mean, really, I think you got him to chase a breaking ball. You got him to chase a breaking ball out of the zone his first at bat. So you got to really trust the fastball in off the plate. If you miss, you miss. And then when you go breaking ball, get it off the edge. Like it has to be a chase pitch.
This one goes past Burks to the backstop, and Blake Jackson moves up into scoring position.
Well, now you might just welcome again.
And try your hand at Parker Nolan, perhaps with 2 outs.
Change up, and Burks just trying to sell it, trying to steal a strike, tips off the edge of his glove. Yeah, they're going to walk him.
Yeah, they will.
Makes that decision easy.
So the 2nd time in the last 3 innings that Cole Messina has been intentionally walked by Kentucky. Right move in your eyes, no question?
I mean, yeah, once the runner goes to scoring position, I think it's a no doubter. Runner on first, you know, the way the ballpark's playing today, Moore's punched him out already. I would have taken the chance. Once the runner gets scoring position with his, hey now,
Look at that.
some real athleticism. I need you to.
It's like a catcher making
You to
kick
try
saves.
that.
No thanks. There's Parker Nolan. First pitch drifts outside.
Now you got to bear down though. That's the you got a little different spin.
Yeah.
Do you know how many ice packs I would need after that? Two aboard, 2 out. Outside, 2-0 on Parker Nolan. Patient hitter has worked a bunch of walks this year. Came in with an on-base percentage right around 400 for Carolina. Tied at 4 in the 5th. 2-0. Fouled back.
Last time he was in a spot similar to this, Mason Moore got Parker Nolan to roll over on a 2-seamer away to get out of that mess. Right there, that was the elevated fastball that Nolan just looked a little tardy. You know, Nolan probably got that rollover in the back of his mind, looking to use the backside of the field maybe here in this at bat.
That's a strike with a changeup. 2-2.
Kind of locked him up on the inside part of the play. It looked like Nolan just couldn't quite pull the trigger there.
2 on, 2 outs. Mason Moore's 2-2. Hits Nolan, but did he make a move toward that? They're going to say it's a hit batter that loads him up for Carolina, and Nick Mingione's out of the dugout. If you're judged to intentionally make a movement to be hit by the pitch, it's a strike, which here would end the inning in a 2-strike count.
Kentucky is challenging the call that the batter was intentionally hit by the pitch. Plays under review.
See if that right arm moves out. Ooh, Mikey. You know, the phrase Paul Gillier uses is, did the ball hit the batter or did the batter hit the ball? Here's the thing, the ball was going to hit Nolan either way. Like, there's no doubt that ball's hitting Nolan. The question is, did he go out to hit it also? What do you think?
It's a very fine line between holding your arm exactly where it is and moving it out like an inch.
It kind of looks like Lady moves it out to me.
In real time, I thought it was an intentional movement to be hit by the pitch.
Too. And you see he kind of hangs it out there too.
Real speed.
After review, the call of hit by pitch is confirmed. Batters awarded first base.
All right,
Kentucky
shows what we
has
know.
one challenge remaining.
So again, that's the fine line, though. I mean, did you move a little bit to be hit by it? And you said either way, it was hitting him.
It was going to hit him.
So by
either
that
way.
logic,
yeah, you never. To me, I don't think the pitcher should be rewarded for a bad pitch. It should be overt that the hitter made a move to hit the ball.
The board for Carolina.
Oh.
And it hits Kennedy Jones. And South Carolina's got the lead. Well, that'll do it. With the bases loaded, O'Brien's first. He's just off the edge. Dalton Reeves has already hit one of the 4 grand slams we have seen at this SEC tournament. Cole Messina's got another. 2-0. Strike throwing's been an issue for Kentucky. And this is the team that in league play was second worst in the SEC in strike percentage as a pitching staff. 2-0. That dots the edge. 2-1.
And we highlighted just second half of the season, the pitching has been trending down. They've struggled throwing strikes. They struggled making big pitches with runners in scoring position. There's been a lot of games where they've given up double digits.
2-1. Reeves fouls it back. 2-2. Kentucky got a big double play ball back in the 3rd when South Carolina had them loaded. And the Gamecocks have them loaded again here in the 5th. They've grabbed the lead with 2 runs in already off Mason Moore. Cam O'Brien's 2-2. Check swing, did he go? No, and it's a full count.
It's been all fastball to this point from Cam O'Brien. Steady working that heater up in the zone. Likes to throw the cutter as well to left-handers. That's the pitch that has the lowest batting average against. But at 3-2, seems like he's trusting the heater in this at-bat.
Payoff pitch, and Reeves lays off the cutter. So South Carolina adds on, and the lead is 2.
Strikes. You said it, Mikey. Just the inability. That's now 8 free passes that Kentucky's pitching staff has issued in this ball game, whether it be walks or hit by pitches. South Carolina swinging the bat so well, so much confidence, and you give them 8 free passes. That is a recipe for disaster.
And it brings up Gavin Casas, who's got a 3-run home run already. Strike one on the edge.
Fastballs away, fastballs up, and cutters down, down and in. That's what we've seen so far from O'Brien.
The 0-1. That's a fastball up, 1-1, and this was the big fly from Gavin Casas in the second.
Yeah, sit on a breaking ball and let it rip. A no-doubter into the trees in right field. Casas with the first big swing of the bat in this ball game.
1-1. Down, 2-1 on Casas. Couple lefties here that Cam O'Brien has seen trying to work that fastball away.
Yeah, just sticking it away. And the misses haven't been huge,
right,
but he just hasn't been able to really dot that corner yet.
Loaded up 2-1. Casas fouls it away.
He can do that too now. It's a breaking ball to right, the fastball to left. Almost hit a homer. Oppo his last AB. Certainly seeing the ball well in this ball game. Just looks like he's on time. He's holding his hand.
Yeah, grabbing at his right hand a little bit here. Ahead of a 2-2. So Mark Kingston, Carolina head coach, comes out. It's not what you love to see.
No.
Let's check out the last swing from Casas.
Does he wince? Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, he does.
It's over, doesn't he?
A wince and a grimace.
How would you define the 2-2 count with the bases juice? No prep for this.
Cam O'Brien, who had the long delay, now deals. And Lee Croy lifts this one foul outside of first and to the seats. Talmadge Lee Croy right now at the SEC tournament, 1 for 14, trying to pick up Gavin Casas, forced to depart. Hope for the best for him. South Carolina by 2. 2-2 again, and Lee Croy strikes out. So Cam O'Brien gets the K.
Now over at third.
Oh, no.
Talk about toughness. That's not what you want before a game. But Talmadge Lee Croy, apparently good enough to go off the bench. Parker Marlott back to work. Now he's got a lead. 6-4 South Carolina after a nearly half hour. Bottom of the 5th inning in which the Gamecocks got 1 hit. But they've got the lead.
Yeah, 1 hit and 3 runs.
And now Nolan McCarthy gets hit by a pitch. So Kentucky will bring the tying run to the plate here in the 6th. Got a lot going on today.
Yeah, I just can't remember a game I've called all year where both pitching staffs are struggling to command the baseball. Kentucky certainly has been struggling that thing. See, at first he was feeling it, and then he remembered the dugout guys are going to crush me if I act like it hurts. So now he's.
It looked like he was about to say, wow, as in, wow, that hurts.
Yeah, and then he flipped it.
Will MJ it with the tongue.
Hagenau might have tossed him.
Can you toss someone who's in the lineup?
Probably not, but I mean, Hagenau might try. I could see it.
Sounds like he's got carte blanche. Do you have anyone you want to eject while we're on the topic?
No one here currently.
Emphasis on currently.
That's right.
James McCoy, that's a strike, 1-1. Bunted his last time and popped it up to Casas while Hagenau presides. Fouled back 1-2. hat askew as well.
Good word.
Was it like that during our interview?
I don't believe so. I think he's gone weird on us.
By the way, there is one great byproduct of our interview with Ryan Hagenack.
Yes.
Swing and a miss. Marlott ties up James McCoy, and it's a strikeout for the first out. We are now no longer going to be hungry because we had these hand delivered.
Yeah. Thank you.
By the Kentucky staff, so thank
and
you very much.
They brought Rice Krispie treats, so we get a little bit of, some nutrition, a little bit of snack. Kenny, these might go well for you.
Let's
go.
You
got a long night here. Thank you to the Kentucky dugout, and just to clean something up, the only reason I told Chris that she might need to go to the UK side was just because they look like they have the post-game spread during the game.
Right.
And from Chris's perspective, that would seem to be maybe something she'd want to partake in. South Carolina's, they got snacks too.
And I see a Celsius, which she loves.
Okay.
I've already won Celsius down. We have to limit the amount of caffeine. It's early today. I will say, I've done this long enough that I know when the post-game spread comes out. That's usually around the 7th inning. We're not there yet. Theirs came out a little bit early. I should switch dugouts because we have some Uncrustables and some bananas down here. It's not quite to the gourmet sandwich level that you guys have. Also, I'm the one down here braving the elements. How come I am not getting these sandwiches?
Braving the elements under
define.
the umbrella.
It's getting sticky out here.
Behind walls, under the umbrella.
As if we're in
Hang
the
in there,
tub.
KB. Hang in there. Keep grinding.
Someone's got to do it in 79. 1-2 on Grant Smith, who strikes out. Marlott's got back-to-back Ks, and he has fanned 5 in 2 innings of work.
Big fan of this kid's stuff. He comes into the game with 20 innings and only 13 hits allowed. And yeah, the wild one early, but the fastball up, the overhand breaking ball, I mean, the tunneling of those 2 pitches, very, very effective.
So back to the top for Kentucky. And the man aboard for Ryan Waldschmidt. Got a good heater there, but took it for strike 1. First look at Marlott, and he swings through that fastball, and it's 0-2.
Well, we know Waldschmidt's been doing damage on breaking balls. Saw him hit a home run on one yesterday. So if you're going to go to Uncle Charlie, this is the time where you bounce it. Otherwise, keep that fastball elevated.
Couple shakes from Marlott. Fastball up, runner on the move. Reeves throw is a dot to now the 6th in Hoover. Here is Tippett, 9-1-2. And a curveball to start from Cam O'Brien. What a swing for Will Tippett. He told you, not a starter here down the stretch for the Gamecocks, but a home run to lead off that long 5th inning. Ball and a strike. Final weekend of the regular season for Tippett against Tennessee, just 1 at bat. And then this week in 3 games, 1 AB in each game. He saw just 1 hit in that 3-run inning for South Carolina in the 5th.
Yeah, Kentucky's got to be kicking themselves for their inability to just throw strikes. It's one thing when a team's knocking you all over the yard, but when you're gifting them with free pass after free pass, you're making life really tough on your pitching staff.
2-2.
Self-inflicted wounds. The defense, especially when you got a defense like this, and again, none of these guys are trying to hit dudes or throw balls. It's just been one of those situations where Mason Moore, just execution-wise, couldn't command the baseball. Defense can't help you in those situations.
O'Brien's 2-2. Nick Mingione said it yesterday after a very well-played game against Arkansas. He said, for us to be the team we want to be, we have to pitch and defend at a very high level. And he thought their infield defense yesterday, by the way, was about as good as it could be against the Razorbacks. Free passes the story, though, in that 5th for him. That's down, full count on Tippett. Couple pretty good look at ABs his last 2 trips.
Yeah, identifying balls and strikes very well. We saw him chase one up there a second ago, but looking comfortable in this ball game with the bat.
Oh. Strikes out here, and that was nasty from O'Brien.
Now, O'Brien's best pitch is that cutter, 86, 87 mile an hour cutter. This one looks like it almost went the other way.
What is that?
Like a backup cut piece. He gets over the top of that thing and almost looked like a split.
Yeah. With arm side.
Yeah, it acted like a split. It wasn't, but man, that was dirty.
Just like he drew it up.
Yeah.
1 away. Base is empty for the leadoff man, Austin Brindling. And showing up, Mississippi State. 5 seed squaring off later today against Tennessee. Good looking bus. Check swing roller. Foul.
Bulldog fans are hoping the offense came to play tonight. That's a pitching staff that has performed at an extremely high level to this point in Hoover, but the offense just hasn't really been able to get going. Always tough when your stars aren't playing like it.
2 runs in their opener, 1 run last night in the loss to Vandy. Look out at third.
So they've scored 8 runs in 3 games. That's not going to win you a ton of games.
It's good math, though.
Thank you. I'll let you do the average per. Big Notre Dame guy.
So it's been said.
As you brought up.
Here comes the 1-2. Fouled off himself. It's the 1-2 on Brindling.
To go back to that, Kentucky's going to have to host their way to the World Series. And while everybody would take that, it is a different kind of pressure. Playing in front of your home fans and all the anticipation of being a host, especially with the regular season that they put together.
Comebacker that heads to short, and Grant Smith throws out Brindling for out number 2. Well, speaking of the pressure that comes at this time of the year, Ryan Hagan out.
Channing well enough.
Ethan Petrie chases. Their players have said it's not fake fun. People might think it is. They insist it is not.
That smile doesn't look fake.
No. The beard rub was fun to learn about the other day.
That was new. That was different.
Two and one on Petrie.
I've seen a lot of hugging in dugouts before. That's my first beard to beard.
The goatees are gone. They have been for a couple of months, sounds like. But not the beards.
Yeah.
Petrie 1 for 3. The 2-1 is another good cutter, 2-2.
That's the normal shape of the cutter from O'Brien. Just dotted on the edge. That is a really well executed pitch.
O'Brien looking for a 1-2-3 6th inning. With the 2-2. Better for Petrie to spoil that cutter.
There it is. You've reached a new level of being a good teammate when that's your level of comfort with each other.
Lace in the left field, a base hit for Ethan Petrie. Big turnaround first as Waldschmidt collects, and it's a 2-out double for Ethan Petrie.
Man, right field in his last at bat, and now left field in this one. There's that cutter. That was more of the breaking ball, I think, and that one stays middle. Even though it's down, it stays middle. Petrie stays on it and ropes it into left field. Long way for Waldschmidt to run. He's not going to throw Petrie out. Gamecocks continue to come up with big swings of the bat.
Only the 6th double for Ethan Petrie this year.
How about that?
5 coming in to go along with what, 20+ home runs, 21 of them.
Caglianone's got 29 and 3.
Remember that? We were talking about that in Gainesville. That is hard to believe.
Extremely.
1-0 to Jackson. Misses the top of the zone, 2-0. Any reason to either guy?
I can't. I think some of it just feels like an anomaly. I mean, especially a guy like Cagliano who's hitting over 400. I mean, he's hit so many balls hard, and he can run.
That's a strike, 2-1. Two outs and Petrie at second. Carolina up by 2 in this elimination game for a spot in the semifinals. Strike 2. Jackson is not like those last couple called on him. Cam O'Brien deals. Popped up in the air to left center, and Nolan McCarthy with those dirty pants roams to make the catch and end the inning. Chris Burke, Mike Monaco, Chris Budden with you, and strike 1 from Parker Marlott to Ryan Waldschmidt. So Kentucky ran with 2 strikes on Waldschmidt and 2 outs. Dalton Reeves threw out Nolan McCarthy, and you get a fresh count for Waldschmidt, who just sent one up here.
It's a good play. Take a shot. You got your leadoff hitter in a bad count. Never a bad thing to. If you get the base, you get one of your best hitters up with the runner in scoring position. If you don't, he gets to start all over.
On the ground, left side, at LeCroy. In off the bench, and good stretch from Petrie for the first down. Marlott has really stabilized this game since he came on in the 4th.
Man, 2 pitches that have really tied up this Kentucky offense. Fastball up, downer breaking ball. Nice job of mixing both of them. Those pitches really pair well together.
That was the move from Mark Kingston and company as their 3rd pitcher used today in what has already been a good week for the Gamecocks here in Hoover. Emilian Petrie has walked a couple of times, and this one is rolled at Parker Nolan for out number 2. So 3 innings of work from Parker Marlott. The only damage is a hit batter last inning to lead off that frame, but then Dalton Reeves told you threw out McCarthy, so it was 3 up, 3 down in the end.
Yeah, no, it's about as efficient as you could possibly be.
2 outs, bases empty, and Devin Burks. First pitch curveball misses to Burks. Bounced into a double play in the 1st, and then has struck out on curveballs against Dean and Marlott his last 2 times.
There's that breaker. Nice take there by Burks. Good thing is legit top to bottom depth.
Good to see Gavin Casas at least is back in the dugout for the Gamecocks. This is popped toward the mound, and Petrie puts it away. Is that a Devil Rays shirt?
Devil Rays.
Here's Cole Messina. Cutter misses. No, that's Astros. And he's looking up at the booth right now. Hello.
Yeah. We made contact. We got a good wave.
Okay. So to be clear, that's a yes.
Absolutely. We gotta coordinate it, but.
Well, Cole Messina didn't think he was going to get upstaged by that.
Back to Cole.
But he has been. Cam O'Brien's 2-0. Another cutter misses. They stay careful with Messina, who's been intentionally walked twice in this game.
Swinging.
For sure.
Yeah, I would say he's got the emerald green light right now.
Oh, got a good one to hit 2 on 3-0.
Maybe in the back of his mind he was thinking even maybe he'd get a breaking ball, but he just didn't quite get that one out in front. I mean, that was right down Broadway, and it beat him.
The All-American catcher tries to lay off and did. 5-pitch walk worked by Cole Messina, who, if you're just joining us, has homered 4 times in this tournament and has set an SEC tournament record with 14 RBIs. So he's on for Parker Noland, who it feels like has had somebody aboard every time he's come up because he's hitting behind that guy. Walk, double play ball, hits and staff in the dugout, and then Chris's reporting confirms the unfortunate news for the Gamecocks. Meantime, Kentucky goes to the pen for the highly decorated freshman from Chapel Hill, Tennessee, Ben Cleaver, for only his 5th appearance. Facing the lefty Parker Noland with Cole Messina aboard, and that's 91 with the heater for a strike.
Talk about getting your feet wet here in a big spot. The young freshman hadn't pitched a ton, but getting a chance to do it out here on the big stage, great experience.
He was their highest ranked recruit in his incoming freshman class. Long levers, lefty with the velo we've already seen. Low 90s.
Yeah, that body's just going to keep filling out.
True curveball as well. Fastball up, misses. It didn't tempt Noland. South Carolina's got wins this week over Alabama and Arkansas. That was Tuesday and Wednesday respectively, and then the 1-run loss to LSU last night. There's the curve, 2-2. Cole Messina has said this week, we had a rough 6 games before this tournament, and then with those 2 wins, he said we turned it all around. Feel like we're back to who we are. We can now make a run.
Doesn't take much to jumpstart a team. But there's a momentum that certainly can be created here. There's also times when teams have come here and performed poorly and scrapped it and had a great run through the NCAA tournament. So it doesn't have to necessarily predict your postseason fate, but when you come in scuffling, you want to get some wins here in Hoover.
Curveball for strike 3 called, and there's one away, and there is that true breaking ball from Ben Cleaver.
68 miles an hour. The first one was kind of a sweeper slider. This is the big hook. And Parker Noland hadn't seen that one yet. Starts way above his head, and then the bottom drops out. Professional strike 3 looking right there by Parker Noland, where you just wear it. Just back to the dugout. He wins.
Just immediately take off.
It's professional.
Wear it. 1 out, 1 on, bottom of the 7th. Kennedy Jones takes down. Devin Burks blocks it.
Just a good line to all you young hitters out there listening. Like, sometimes the pitcher wins, and you don't need to act like they'll miss the call, or, you know, just wear it.
What happens if you buckle? Can you still wear it and just head back?
That's when you really wear it.
Kind of speedily walk back?
No, don't do that. Don't run back to the dugout. I would tell hitters, players in general, run everywhere on the field except for after you strike out. Don't do that. Do not run back after a punch out.
Seems logical, but why?
It's like, what, did you have fun striking out? Don't do that. Striking out's never fun. It's not okay. It's okay to wear it, but like, you don't need to like
tout it.
I don't need hustle after a strikeout.
That would certainly be eyewash.
Exactly right. We used to actually grade dudes on how well they wore strike 3, and especially on the 3rd out strike 3. Like, if you really took it like a dude and just like threw your bat and your helmet back to the dugout and just walked out, like, we were like, man, he made that strikeout look good. Like, some guys were so cool they could make striking out look cool.
It's an art. Oh, good curve again from Ben Cleaver. who has snapped off a couple of beauties on in relief. A smile and two away.
How about that youthful smile? Like, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm punching out dudes in the SEC tournament. That is a hammer. What a great look at that. That slow-mo there of how he gets over top of that ball and just gets that thing spinning downhill. Smile. Yeah, this is fun. Thanks, Dev.
More of this. And then Dots 91 left on left with Dalton Reeves. I mean, it's true. Like, evaluating body language of baseball players is one of the real fun arts. Like the strut that pro athletes have as well. Like a pitcher coming off the mound, it's like how slowly can you walk off the mound to exude maximum confidence?
And let me just say, Paul Skeens had the coolest off the mound walk, like ever.
Why?
It just, you know.
Runner goes, pitch a ball, and Burks couldn't pick to throw. And Cole Messina swipes second and moves into scoring position.
I mean, why is Steph Curry's jumper the most beautiful? Like, why? Like, you know, it's hard to fully encapsulate and articulate. But, you know, Skeens would tip his hat up, and you could see like his cool LSU headband.
Yeah, the headband.
And he just had that walk about him. It's just like
kind of casual.
Just a dude.
2 outs here in the 7th. 2-1. That's down from Cleaver. 3-1. If you're just joining us, Kentucky got 2 in the 2nd. Gamecocks countered with 3 in the next half inning. Wildcats grabbed the lead in the 4th, 4-3, but Carolina got 3 in the 5th. And that misses ball 4. So, second walk of the inning from Kentucky pitching in a game filled with that. First base runner yielded by Cleaver, and there's 2 on here for South Carolina, already up by 2. This is the Gavin Casas spot in the lineup for South Carolina, where Talmadge LeCroy came on in the 5th inning with a 2-ball, 2-strike count and eventually struck out. Down, and Burks blocks it. Let's go down to Chris.
A little bit more clarity on Casas' injury. They're going to go have x-rays after the game is over to understand the severity of it. It is definitely a hamate, but they want to see, after looking at x-rays, just is it broken and how bad the injury is.
And so we'll await the official word on that, but hope for the best for Gavin Casas. Think about all the injuries South Carolina went through down the stretch last year. And then to be here in Hoover and having had a great week, did not want to be without one of your key bats headed toward regionals. Ben Cleaver's trying to get back in the strike zone here against Talmadge LeCroy. Canton, it's 2-0.
Changeup that he just kind of ripped across the strike zone.
Messina at second, Reeves at first. This is popped up behind the plate and out of play. South Carolina was a top 15 team just 2 weeks ago. Was in the hosting discussion, came here on that 6-game losing streak, but it turned it around. This is popped up behind the plate, and Burks gives it a look, but that'll get to the seats as well. 2-2. D1 baseball officially and firmly says Carolina is comfortably in the field, as you've said throughout this week. And a good week for him here in Hoover. Trying to add on, trying to get to the semis tomorrow. 2-2. This is lifted foul. You got something for me?
Well, you know, I'll tell you later.
Okay. Two out, 2 on, and a spin and throw from Cleaver. got him! The freshman fans 2 and picks off Cole Messina for the Cats.
Messina had been working it. He'd been timing him off throw, put the tag down just in time.
And he'd already gotten jumpy. He had stolen second.
I think, look, he's ticked at himself. He got out there and started feeling like Vince Coleman.
2-1 is popped up, foul ground by Nick Lopez. And it's 2-2.
Cole Messina's not Ellie Deli. Like I'm
You're
proud
covering
of him.
all eras here, by
That's
the
right.
way.
Yeah, I mean, I can go current. I can go blast from the past. Kids, look up Vince Coleman. He was pretty good at swiping bags. Ricky, we can go Ricky.
Now you're just showing off.
Okay.
4, 5, and 6 for Kentucky. Down by 2 here in the 8th inning. Trying to continue their stay in Hoover. Hard hit ground ball, base hit right field for Nick Lopez. And the first team All-SEC DH is on for the Cats.
Does Kentucky's offense have a run in them? The freshman Marlott has been spectacular in this game, already well past his longest outing of the year. Now Lopez greets him with a leadoff single. We'll see if the stuff can still carry or if he's starting to labor here a little bit.
Here's Mitchell Daly. Takes a strike on the inside part of the plate. If you're just joining us, Parker Marlott has been fabulous since he took over in the 4th. Daly pulls back and the curveball misses to make it 1-1. This is high, 3-0.
I mean, the reason it's so hard for the teams that play on Tuesday to get deep in this tournament is because you have to have some sort of special, unexpected performance by somebody in your bullpen that hasn't done it yet to that point to cover the innings.
Umpire corrects the count. It's 2-1 now, 2-2 on the foul from Daly.
And, you know, Marlott would certainly fit that mold right now with what we've seen from him. We saw Chris Veach have a just kind of dominant performance on Tuesday to carry the day for that pitching staff, and Marlott hasn't quite reached that level, but boy, has he been special.
Full count on Daly, who loves the take and looks off to his dugout. Wildcats down by 2. The pitch. Daly strikes out. 1 away.
Fastball's got some carry to it, especially on the tail end of just showing that overhand curveball. Everybody's got the curveball in the back of that mind. The four-seamer, just grab that thing and rip it. Marlott with a big first out here, trying to work around a leadoff single.
He has stepped up in a major way in this win or go home affair. And he dots strike one with still 91 to Ryan Nicholson. One out, one on. Fouled away.
Ryan Nicholson yesterday got a fastball down and out over the plate, and one of the prettiest swings of the bat we've seen here this week. And one of the farthest home runs as well. Likes the ball down.
0-2. Got a breaking ball and pulled it into right field, a base hit. Lopez races around toward third, set to the plate, and this is a one-run game in the 8th inning.
Well, leave him in, take him out. It looks like they should have taken him out. A hanging breaking ball sitting right down Broadway. And Nick Lopez is going to put the gas pedal down here. I thought Nicholson could have gotten to third. As you see Blake Jackson pick this ball up, he's going to throw it towards home. And the throw by Nolan would have had to be totally redirected towards third base. Look, they should be setting up towards third right there. If Nicholson goes to third, he'd have made it easily. Nevertheless, an RBI double. Kentucky right back in this one.
So they kept in the righty Marlotz instead of the left on left. And Kentucky has trimmed it to 1 in the 8th inning. Ryan Nicholson with a run-scoring double has made this a 1-run game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ethan Petrie just kind of hanging at first base. Watch how close he stays to the bag here as Nicholson just rifles him by him. It's interesting that, you know, you're guarding no doubles and you end up giving up almost what would have been a triple. Watch Coach Mingione here at third base. He's sending them, and then he puts on the brakes because Nicholson kind of put on the brakes. And I think Kentucky missed an opportunity with 1 out to be 90 feet away from tying up this ball game. Interesting play there is South Carolina is trying to prevent doubles, but the ballpark's just so spacious, even a ball hit that hard to your right can end up being extra bases.
Well, the freshman was excellent in getting South Carolina to this point. But instead of the left on left, they kept him in, and now the move to Matthew Becker against the righty Nolan McCarthy. So it's Becker getting the ball in this spot. The junior lefty, a South Carolina native, making his 19th appearance with a ton of Ks.
This is a dude that's gotten the ball in a number of big spots throughout the course of the year.
As we hit Friday night in Hoover. 1-1. McCarthy fouls it back. Nolan McCarthy's got a 2-run double, a sac bunt, and got hit by a pitch. The day after he robbed the home run, told his head coach, "I've never done that in my life." Hot shot to first, and Petrie's got it.
Oh, wow.
It's 2.
He's here on this set as well, too.
Oh, we're sorry to hear that, Peter. But, yeah, we'll see, David, if South Carolina can buck that trend. And to Todd's point, who's going to be the hero down the stretch to advance to the semifinals tomorrow? Talmadge Lecroy rolls one to Mitchell Daly. And there's one away to start the bottom of the 8th. Ethan Petrie was holding the line earlier, and then this one turns it into 2.
Yeah, Johnny on the spot. Here's something to think about. If Nicholson would have gotten to third and the infield's in and Petrie's more on the cut of the grass, does that ball get by him and they tie the game up? Instead, it's you walk off for a double
South
play.
Carolina is challenging the call of out at first base.
Matthew Becker's
Plays
looking
under
around
review.
like, what happened?
What just happened? It's a double play, bud. That's 3 outs.
It was 2, kid. And Parker Marlott likes it. His defense picks him up. Meanwhile, here, we've got a challenge from South Carolina. I believe that they're wondering if Ryan Nicholson at first got pulled off the bag on the throw from Mitch Daly across the diamond.
Looked like to me the foot stayed on just long enough.
If you're just joining us earlier, we had both teams challenging the same play in a rarely seen maneuver in the beautiful sport of college baseball. Let's have a look.
Daly gathers and fires this ball, sails up the line on him just a touch.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
Carry on.
After review, call of out at first base is confirmed. That is South Carolina's second failed challenge. They have 0 men.
So one away for South Carolina. Just trying to see if they could find a way to get Talmadge Lecroy aboard and add a little insurance.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's one where you go, and you still have some baseball left to be played, but lead off the 8th, you're up by a run. You'd love to have your leadoff guy on. I could make a case for it. It just didn't look like a questionable call to the naked eye.
And they didn't win it. So 1 out, base is empty. 9-hitter Will Tippett against Ben Cleaver freshman who has stayed in the game after he fanned a couple in the 7th. And then picked off Cole Messina. 1-0. There's a strike with the fastball. Again, winner plays tomorrow at noon Central against sizzling LSU right here on SEC Network. Tippett vaults this one on the infield. And Emilian Petrie.
Surprised me the most, it's how the two teams that seem to be the most sputtering are still alive, which is South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Like, we know the league has a ton of depth and all these teams have a chance to win a regional, but for Vanderbilt and South Carolina to pick up the pieces from really rough finishes and play to the level that they have has been awfully impressive.
South Carolina is looking to advance to tomorrow. They've got one SEC tournament title back in 2004. This is their 31st appearance. 2-1 on leadoff man Austin Brenly. Preseason top 25 team. 2 weeks ago we said ranked 13th in the country. This week out of the polls. 2-2. Ben Cleaver's trying to get Kentucky off the field here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Strikes out Brenling. 1, 2, 3, and the last hopes Herrera, who bats for the Cats. 8, 9, and 1. McCoy had walked and gone 0 for 2. Matthew Becker to face him. Breaking ball lands for a strike, and it's 1-1 on the junior from Arizona, Patrick Herrera. He lays off the breaking ball. 2-1 on a guy who's made 19 starts this year. He's driven in 16, and in a small sample size has an OPS in the 900s. Fouled away. 2-2.
Becker likes that breaking ball. South Carolina left-hander punched out more than a guy an inning this year. The problem has been just made too many mistakes and given up too many base hits, but the stuff is there to get swing and miss.
Oh, he has run it full against Pat Herrera. Kentucky trying to get the leadoff man on with the way they manufacture offense. Down a run. 3-2. Herrera strikes out, and there's one away.
The fastball's the put-away pitch. 27% swing and miss on that fastball. Loves to go to the top of the zone with that four-seamer. Just 90 miles an hour from a velocity standpoint, but the ride up in the zone gets above the barrel for Herrera, and that is a big first out and a full count.
Now Grant Smith, the 5th-year senior shortstop, takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Smith 0 for 2, did walk back in the 4th inning. Breaking ball again to make it 0-2. Becker's 0-2. That's down. Ball and 2 strikes on Grant Smith.
Tell you what a win this would be for Carolina. As many opportunities as they gave Kentucky with defensive miscues, figure out a way to win this game by a run, even though you help the opponent out, would be huge. Oh, what a pitch.
That is strike 3 called, and there's 2 away.
What a pitch. Just run it in there. You talk about throwing the ball with confidence. Shove it into the inside corner, and this is exactly how you want to face Waldschmidt with 2 outs and nobody on.
Ryan Waldschmidt has had a fantastic season for Kentucky. One of the most improved players in the SEC. Homered twice yesterday, but 0 for 4 today. Becker's first. Popped up. Shallow right. Nolan backs up. And South Carolina's headed to the
Surprised me the most. It's how the two teams that seem to be the most sputtering are still alive, which is South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Like, we know the league has a ton of depth, and all these teams have a chance to win a regional. But for Vanderbilt and South Carolina to pick up the pieces from really rough finishes and play to the level that they have has been awfully impressive.
South Carolina is looking to advance to tomorrow. They've got one SEC tournament title back in 2004. This is their 31st appearance. 2-1 on leadoff man Austin Brenly. Preseason top 25 team. 2 weeks ago we said ranked 13th in the country. This week out of the polls. 2-2. Ben Cleaver's trying to get Kentucky off the field here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Strikes out Brenly. 1, 2, 3, and the last hope